All right, hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Elwing Arwen Tarot, and just gonna go ahead and tell you all my name. My name is Jen, and I'll be doing a reading today on what is your shadow trying to tell you. So to do this, I'm using the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck and the Wild Unknown Tarot deck, and then I'm gonna use the Seed and Sickle, and we're going to use the Dusk guidebook specifically for this. So I'm very interested to see what today's reading looks like. A little nervous, but we'll see how this goes. Anyway, so starting off, let's see ooh, okay. All right, there's two here, so we'll use both of them. We have the sword, oh, and the mirror. All right, so the sword and the mirror. Real quick, this is fascinating. You have the sun and the moon, and it looks like an eclipse cycle or the moon cycle over here. You have the sun and the moon and then an eclipse almost, and then you have the moon over here for the mirror. Ooh, very interesting. Okay, all right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pull our Seed and Sickle Dusk card. You know what? I'm just gonna take it from the top and we're gonna trust that. Hops. Okay. All right, cool. Set that to the side. My bad, y'all. You know what? Let's pull our tarot cards. No. We're gonna read. All right, so the Seed and Sickle, if you don't know, the Oracle deck comes with a Dawn and a Dusk guidebook. The Dawn talks about like changes you can make, and the Dusk talks about not changes you can make. It does talk about your shadow side and things that you may need to work on. So this is perfect for this reading. All right, it says hops. The hop vine speeds ahead through life, voraciously grabbing at each new hurdle it must conquer. But as it grows, it leaves behind clusters of flowers, and these take life much more casually. With the vine having done the hard work already, they can now reap the benefits. Hop flowers are a great treatment for anxiety and insomnia. Step back, find a spot in the sun, and soak up that restful energy. Oh, okay, all right. This is about resting. In that case, I think what's happened is you've used the sword in some way, right? You've sliced through. You're able to see something very clearly. And you're not in the dark anymore. So you have this like lightning bolt going through there. Okay, cool. And now it's time to step back and look in the mirror and rest. Definitely getting a lot of restful energies. Let's see what the cards have to say about that restful energy, or what your shadow wants to tell you about this restful energy. All right, I'm going to shuffle again, then I'm probably just going to pull from the top this time. Okay. All right, we have Justice, and we have the sword and the light and the dark again. And okay. The Son of Wands, that's the Knight of Wands. This is moving quickly. Justice is coming. Daughter of y'all. Okay, so this is the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands. And we have the Son of Swords. Ooh. All right, what else do we have? Ten of Swords. Okay. Eight of Pentacles. Six of Cups, and the Moon. Is anybody else seeing? Oh, okay. We have the Sword again, and we have the Moon again. All right, well, let's talk about what I'm seeing here. So we have Justice. We have this black or white kind of thinking. Stepping into your truth, actually saying what needs to be said. And then you're speaking with authority and with charisma with the Son of Wands. With the Daughter of Wands, you definitely have that burning passion and the drive. And with the Son of Swords, the Knight of Swords, this is coming in quickly. So very soon, you're going to have this moment where you're speaking your truth openly, charismatically. And because we have both, like the Son and the Daughter, the Knight and the Page, that's just like a double emphasis is what I'm seeing. And this is going to happen quickly because you're going to have this almost tower moment, this 10 of Swords. Like something is going to happen where you feel this need and this dedication. Now, the 10 of Swords is the end of a cycle in a sense, right? All 10s are that end of a cycle. The 10 of Swords being this cycle of anxiety, overthinking, because all of your plans have just failed and crumpled, essentially. I mean, this could also signify the end of a dark night of the soul. If you've been in a place where you haven't been heard or seen much, that could definitely be part of it too. All right, and this 8 of Pentacles really shows, I like this image for the 8 of Pentacles because it's all about building, right? Being dedicated and building. It reminds me of, Charlotte's Web, right? Charlotte was very dedicated to her work and helping Wilbur. And I know, children's book, right? But it's a classic for a reason. And not just because the spider dies in the end. Let's be real, y'all. That's not what this is talking about anyway. Even though we have the 10 of Swords, what you're building is going to take root and help ground you. Okay? So, yes, you've had this ending of something that you've worked towards, that you've strived towards. But in the end, it's not worth it. You're looking at it and you're saying, man, that's not worth it after all. So you're building something that's going to take root, that is going to give you as much as you're giving it. This whole image of the tree. When I meditate, I really love to use this image of the tree taking in nutrients and then like expelling the negativity, like trees expel oxygen, and then like intake the carbon dioxide and bring it back to the roots, right? It's that cycle of giving and receiving. From the universe, from the earth, from wherever. And honestly, what you're building is going to be that cycle for you of genuinely giving of yourself to others, but also receiving as much as you're pouring in. So if you've been like spinning like a hamster wheel, constantly feeling like you're not getting it, you're being left out, or things are just really difficult and you don't understand why, you're about to end that cycle of pain and heartache and step into something new. And then we have the moon here, right? Which usually does talk about, illusion and seeing things for what they really are. Like in this image, it's illuminating these trees. But to me, it's really speaking to what the hops card was saying about the vine doing the work and then the flowers just setting up afterwards and really resting in that. So you may be entering a time of putting in the effort, but even though you're putting in the effort, it's going to feel restful. It's going to feel like you're getting something out of it and you're being nourished as you're doing it, right? And really, that's, I think, what this Justice card is saying. And even look here, it's like, it's right above our Ten of Swords. It's the end of this cycle and the beginning of this one. And I think realistically too, because you're using this Son of Swords energy, you're going to see very clearly what you need to hold on to and what you need to let go of. Like what is beneficial for you and what isn't, right? By the way, like again, I'm just kind of, I know this is by the same artist, so it shouldn't be that surprising, I guess, but it's a very clear, like these cards are matching the energy of these other cards, right? I don't know if there we go. So this moment of clarity that's coming for you, that moment of clarity is going to be what gives you the passion, the excitement, the energy, the charisma to step out and speak your truth and to say what needs to be said. And once you have that going for you, it's going to become very, very clear like what needs to go, what isn't worth your time. Something is going to have to, unfortunately, die. Like, look at this guy. He's almost, like that looks like the sword that was through this guy's eyes. There's something that needs to die here in order for you to move forward. But once that's dead, and I don't think, these may be honestly just limiting beliefs that you have about yourself. These may be things like, oh, I'm not important, nobody wants to listen to me. These may be things like, well, you know, I'm never going to get anywhere anyway. This isn't like something massive in your life or somebody important in your life being taken away or being ripped away. It may just be how you view yourself and your life circumstances. More than anything, really. I'll tell you what I want to do now is I want to look at these. Where'd that book go? Give me a second, guys. Okay, so I want to look up what the sword and okay, so I had an alarm go off, my bad, y'all. So I did find the sword, the knife, the blade, the weapon. To use the sword is to decide. The blade separates one reality from another. The choice is made and all else falls away. If you find the sword in your grasp, you can no longer hesitate. This weapon requires a clear and decisive mind and a willingness to act. An onlooker may think the sword bearer is hasty and violent, but the most compassionate and responsible gesture is one that is honest, swift, and accurate. Our first encounter with the sword is at birth, when the cord we share with the mother is cut. This moment defines our separation from her and begins our journey of becoming ourself. We must make these cuts again and again if we are to grow. Decisions shape our life, and the sword is an infamous shaper of destiny. Okay. So, yeah. Definitely that whole idea of making a decision and knowing. That's the thing about the sword, is that you know what decision to make. It's not this, I don't know, maybe I should. Like, there's no waffling with the Son of Swords. He is quick, he is decisive, he is saying, we're done with this. And there are times in our lives when we definitely have to take stuff out and remove it immediately, and we know it. had a moment this year of like, yeah, this person in my life is not being a good friend, is actually draining me, and we're just done with that. And it was a very like sword, done with stuff moment. It felt like the Ten of Swords, to be honest with you. And at the same time, like I knew if I was going to stay stuck in that relationship, I could see it playing out, and it was not helpful at all. And it changed a lot of the dynamics within my family with my kids, but all of that has been good. And I don't regret a moment of that because when you're around somebody who is like toxic and who is draining you, you feel it, you know what's going on. And once that became clear, bam, it was like, okay, cool. And don't get me wrong, like I tried talking to her, I tried reasoning things out, but once I realized she was not going to do the things that I needed in order for the relationship to like continue, or the friendship to continue, I was like, oh, well, this is over now because there's no point in that. And that's what this whole moment feels like. It's very much a let me cut off this dead weight so that I can continue to grow, right? Like if you have a bush, you're not sitting there and, wondering at the end of fall, oh, or depending on when you need to prune the bush, but it's like, you're not sitting there wondering, do I need to prune it? Do I not? No, the branches are dead. And if you don't prune them, they will not grow. Or like if you have a bunch of seedlings and they have all sprouted at the beginning, if you leave all of them, then they will all die. You have to be very specific and select the ones that you know are going to grow the best in order to have like a harvest at the end. That's kind of what this whole thing really feels like. And we are getting close to the end of the year. It's that harvest time, it's that pruning back time. So it's only fitting that now would be the moment that we need this sword. Because again, like this is the part I think in the hops illustration or metaphor where the vine is doing the work. This is the hard work. Once you get past that, once the vine has done that work, then you really only need to rest. Rest and be nourished. Okay, let's read the mirror. We look into mirrors every day without recognizing them as portals into another realm. They can shatter, flatter, distort, reflect, and project an image back to us that we deem to be true. The energy of the mirror is all about self-perception. When the archetype of the mirror appears, we are in the mythic land of Narcissus, who saw himself reflected in a pool and fell in love with his own image. So compelled by his reflection, he could not turn away, a fixation that eventually led to his death. Recognize the power and the danger of the mirror. It is a construct, one that may drive a shard between you and your true self. The mirror contains trickster energy. Put the phone down, stop with the comparisons, and let the mirror stand empty for a while and rest with the one inside. Okay, so I think what I'm getting from that actually helps to illuminate this moon card even more. Because if all you're doing is sitting there and comparing yourself to others and wondering if you've made the right decision, and you're not taking time to rest and recuperate and sit with your true self, that is the hardest part, I swear, is when we sit with ourselves and genuinely feel all of those feelings, right? That we try to turn off by using our phones, by using the internet, by using, sometimes tarot readings can become addictive, and we need to turn those off in order to grow, in order to really rest. So I'm going to encourage you. This is not the part that's hard. The part that's hard is not making that swift decision, is not coming to justice. The part that's hard is that self-reflection and that growth, and deciding where you need to put your energy. the part that's hard comes after the death, because then you have to sit with what's left and all of those pieces of the mirror, right? And really take account of what you've done. Take account of who you are and work through those beliefs that you have about yourself. Because ultimately, you know, sometimes those decisions that we make that are life-changing and ending, they look selfish to onlookers. They look like you are just being so rude and inconsiderate and, you know, mean-spirited, and that's not true. Because sometimes we need to take those measures and we need to take those stands for our self-worth, for our own sanity. And so sitting with that, again, oops, sorry. The mirror here is deciding what is illusion and what isn't. It is the moon card in this, like, it's saying the same thing, I guess. It's saying if I look at myself, like, am I going to really truly look at myself? Am I going to highlight my faults and my failures in the mirror? Am I going to look at the things that I think other people are going to judge me for? Or am I going to sit, like genuinely sit and reflect my own self-worth, my own ability to communicate, my own decisions? Yeah, this whole reading is very much, I mean, I would not be surprised if you have already made that decision. And now you may be left with the pieces, and you're having to almost rebuild one by one. And you're having to rebuild with the things that are standing out to you, the things that call to you. And you're having to learn to refresh your spirit in a different way. Like, that's the whole thing about self-care. It's not about just pampering yourself in order to feel good. It's about not holding on. What am I trying to say? It's about finding those ways that genuinely refresh your spirit and your soul so that you can continue to do the good work that you need to do in this world, right? And sometimes the life that we've built is not congruent. Like, when we're genuinely speaking our truth and we're genuinely sitting in our power, we realize, oh, these decisions that I've made, like, I need to make different decisions, because who I am is not lining up with this life I've made, essentially. So yeah, I would definitely say take a minute, take time, take however long you need to sit and to rest in who you are. Because when you sit in your power and you sit in your truth, yourself, that is where you genuinely find what needs to be built up, where you need to put your energy. Okay. I think that's it. This was a fantastic, amazing reading, and I genuinely hope that this has spoken to you somehow, in some way. And maybe you've resonated with all of this, and maybe you've only resonated with some parts of it. That's totally fine. It is a general collective-ish reading, right? Like, my hope is that the people who watch these videos are the ones that find them. Or the ones that find them are the ones that need them and that they resonate with. But some parts of this may have spoken to you, other parts may not have. You may have seen things or connected dots in your life that I did not. That's also totally fine. Or some of this may come into fruition later, in possibly mundane and possibly very dynamic ways. Like this feels like one of those earth-shattering end of a cycle moments. So yeah, if you are looking for more guidance on this, you can always book a personalized reading with me. Or if not, that's also totally fine. And if you're anything like me, because I do enjoy tarot readings myself, especially on YouTube, but like I will find connections between different tarot readings. I'm like, oh, this fits here and this fits there. And anyway, thank you for joining me today. And please like and subscribe if you can, if you want to, just because that really does help to boost the numbers and lets more people find my readings, which would be fantastic and amazing. But yeah, thank you again for joining me. And I hope